In this review, we're going to be taking a close and detailed look at the APC Toys Destruction Evil Voice, also known as Transformers Prime Soundwave. This is an absolute pleasure to own, and I've noticed incredible improvements from the original first edition. So by all means, let's go ahead and dive in and get right into the review. What's up, Alfonso Nation? Alfonso Peterman here today. Welcome one and all to another episode of Teletraan Reviews. Let's go. Before we get started with this amazing figure, I just want to give a shout out to Shozy Store for sporting me with this figure and for stocking this figure. Stuff like this that we can get that are great improvements from the original first edition Transformers Prime. Check out their entire inventory and you can get this figure and more at ShozyStore.com. So here we are. This is the APC Evil Voice. Now, you guys know the original first edition was a pretty significant figure. I mean, it's an iconic mold, and we've seen it many times, and it's still hanging around. People are still holding on to it. I myself have one, but this is APC's version of the Transformers Prime Soundwave, and it's basically the first edition, modified. And there's a couple of paint modifications as well, and that's really where he shines differently. But I do want to say that even in terms of the quality of the figure, it does feel a little bit better and a little bit more high quality than the original. But before we get into the figure, we want to get at the packaging, and here we go. We got the, Transformers Prime Soundwave, APC, it says Evil Voice actually, and then it has Destruction Evil Voice at the bottom. So that's pretty much how the figure actually looks. You turn it over to the side, you have the same image. And then you turn it over to the back, and you have this kind of like blueprint outline of the same image, and then you have him in his jet mode as well, or his satellite jet surveillance mode. And the same description, Transformers fighter with 2 modes and full actions. So anyway, that's pretty much the entirety of the, well actually this one you got a little bit of a close-up. That's pretty much the entirety though of the packaging. Pretty simple for the most part, but I do like that APC has improved their packaging from the original, the very first Transformers Prime figures. They actually have some really good packaging art, and while the packaging scheme is simple, it does the trick, and it looks great. So, by all means, let's just jump right into the figure, the main event himself. And here we have the main honcho. This is Transformers Prime Soundwave APC Evil Voice, and I am like, I mean, as soon as I took him out, I was like, dude, what? We're just gonna go ahead and take a closer look. I mean, this is really nicely done. I like that there's kind of like this bluish paint overall. It's similar to the original paint from the original figure, but you've got some nice purple highlights and they're a little brighter than the original, and that's what really stands out. So taking a look at the detailing here, you got some painting here on the torso, you got some on Laserbeak, you got some on the shoulder pads there, and you got some nice solid purple painting for the head sculpt, looking great. I like the black joints. I'm glad it's not like gray or anything. It blends in very well. Turning around to the back, you got some nice detail. He's fairly accurate and it's pretty much the same figure as the first edition. It just feels a little bit more thicker in the hand, and the painting is more improved. And you can definitely see that from this here. And I mean, you can see even on the arms, they focused on the cracks of the figure and highlighted them to give him that dark Energon purple Decepticon look, and it really looks good. I honestly love him. Now, one thing that does separate this guy from the first edition is the fact that he comes with additional accessories, and these accessories, the first edition obviously only has Laserbeak. These accessories are something you don't get with the original, and that is these tentacles. You have these very nice tentacles, and you do get 2 of them, and they basically attach to his back, and then you can wire them up to like under his arms to simulate the tentacles he had in the actual show, which is an amazing touch. And what I love the most about these, and I was actually not expecting, I thought these were going to be like fixated into one position, or they were going to be just kind of rubbery. It is a rubber material as an exterior, but it is wired. There's like a wire on the inside, so you can actually fix your own pose and it will hold fairly well. So you fix your own pose, you can customize how it looks. Now, that's really cool. I mean, the fact that it even has that for a figure of this price. But what I probably would urge you to do is to not mess with it too much, because if it's one of the wires that I think it is, you know, if you continue to just bend it backwards and forwards, I fear that it might snap on the inside. But I haven't experienced that at all. It's been able to hold its pose pretty significantly, and once you have it kind of in that wiggly pose that he would normally like sling it around as, then you really won't really need to change it very much, and I think that's a nice touch. Now, it does come disassembled, so this piece here is another piece that you get. It's the actual back piece, so this pegs onto his back side right here, into the actual little screw hole there. It pegs into there like that, just like that, and you straighten it out. So he has this like back plating, and then you basically just, you know, you peg one side in. I already have these kind of pre-posed, so you just kind of peg this wire into one side, and then you peg the other wire into the other side. And just make sure it goes under his arm so that it kind of matches up well. There we go. So that's kind of how it looks from the front. I think that's really nice. That's a nice touch. That's something you don't get on the first version. So that actually brings him out quite well and quite significantly. I think it makes him look a lot better too. In addition, to add to the tips of these wires, you have the nice little ends here. And so for some reason it comes completely disassembled. So you have to literally put together this piece and then the black little fingers on the tentacles as well, and for these two pieces somehow are separated, but you have to basically just kind of hold them together to where they form like a complete circle like this. And then you just take this piece and just make sure it's the little prong sticking out, and then you just add them together. You just kind of combine them into one, just like that. And then it'll have this appearance here where so cool. And then you get to like, it actually feels like little tentacle fingers, and then you would just attach and peg it into the ends of the tentacles that you've already attached to the body. Isn't that super nice? I like that a lot. I think that's a nice touch. We're gonna go ahead and add these guys as well. Once again, just kind of combine the two. And you can mix and match them, like, you know, some have the 2 prongs and then some have the 3 prongs. I typically like to match the 3 with a 2, so that it's like, they're both kind of even. But in this case, I'll do a 2 with a 2 and a 3 with a 3. And then once you've done that, you just take it and you peg this one in as well. And there you have Transformers Prime Soundwave, fully armed and tentacled, ready for battle. That looks absolutely terrific. Like that, as a Transformers Prime fan, and someone who really loved Soundwave and how quiet he was and how stealthy he was, but he always just did what he had to do and he did it right. You know, he always just kind of showed up and did his thing, never had to brag, never really needed a voice. Somebody who loves this character, this figure really does show off how nice this can look on a display for literally any Transformers Prime collector. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and show off Laserbeak here. He just literally just unpacks from the chest of Soundwave, and this is Laserbeak. Laserbeak looks terrific. You just kind of move this up and then spread it down, move this up as well, and then just kind of aim it to where you got the wings. And Laserbeak looks really nice. I like Laserbeak's overall design. They did good. And this is the original Laserbeak. We're just gonna kind of maneuver him and just kind of show you the difference. Even Laserbeak looks better. Look at that. You got a larger scaled laser beak with better paint applications on him. So you've got the purple apps on the little crevices, the little like details here. The details are a little bit different. You know, you got a little bit longer lines here, but it's the same general concept as you can see, and I like it a lot. Laserbeak's looking good. If you come to the underside, this is what it looks like on the underside, and even the underside they painted the little cracks, which you didn't really have to do because you don't really see it very much unless you have the wings spread out or unless you're holding them up. But that is what he looks like. Very nice. And for some articulation, he's got the same range of articulation as the first edition. There's no actual change, so you know, you got the arms. The arms do go all around like this, do well, and then bends at the elbow, and I think you have a double joint there. You got this little piece here that kind of rotates. That's his arm. There's no actual finger articulation, but you've got some on the leg, so the leg comes out like that, and then it comes to a bend. Now this part is a little tricky because you got some pieces in the way, but once you come to a bend, it does bend significantly, almost at a 90 degree, if you can see it there. And then the legs do come all the way up. They all go all the way back like this, and they kind of come out a little bit, but not so much. And then you've got some feet, you got some heel and some toe articulation there, and then you've got all around waist articulation right there. The head is on a ball joint, so the head just kind of comes to the side. You can actually move it around. This one is a little more stiff than before, the first edition. This entire figure is more like stiff, but overall it does have a good range of motion, and it's the same exact one as the first edition from what I've seen, but the overall figure just has a nicer quality, so it does look pretty good in pretty much any position that you hold them in. Looks pretty nice to me. And for a sense of comparison, here he is with the original release. There they are. They look pretty nice together. I'm going to try to put them exactly side by side. My original one is a little loose, so just kind of bear with me. But there they are, side by side, and I actually did not think that this guy would be taller than the original, but he is taller, and I like that a lot because the APC figures are a little bit taller than what I would say the first editions brought, depending on the figure. So I really love this new scale. So you're not just getting a repaint, but you're getting a higher scale. You can see how the original one has a more darker purple paint on like the chest versus this one. Even Laserbeak is much bigger, and then you can even see a little bit of differences in the arms, whereas this one has like some darker shading here, and then this one is kind of all together. So you can see that there are some significant changes, even though it's like the same mold. The back is pretty much the same except for this piece here. You got some paint here on the like above the screw hole, and it's the same kind of all together right there. And for some more comparisons, here he is with the Robots in Disguise Wheeljack. Now this is the original Wheeljack. I would like for APC to make one for Wheeljack. APC, if you're watching, you know what to do. But I think it works out well. I like how they look together. That's actually cool. The scale works out well. I think Soundwave is supposed to be taller than Wheeljack. Wheeljack is kind of shorter, more like compact, and man, the scenes with them together was pretty awesome. And then here he is with my favorite APC figure of all time. I don't think they can beat this one, and that is the APC Optimus Prime Voyager scaled, and that's the chrome version. I gotta do a review of that one for y'all, but this is really nice. You can really see the height. The height works out, I think, well. I mean, these are two APC figures together, so that really gives you an idea of what they're supposed to look like. This is really nice. The Optimus Prime, and then you got the Soundwave for APC. And lastly, but mostly, I mean, this is kind of what I think really brings him out with, and that's the APC Dark Master Megatron. Oh my goodness. This is already a big figure. This is already like a terrific scaled figure, and the APC Soundwave, look at that. Look at this. This is literally Oh my, this is like they popped out of the show. This is like they just came out of the series and just popped right onto real life. This is, I'm gonna even say this is the closest we've gotten for both of these figures, the closest we've gotten to the most accurate renditions of these guys ever. APC has destroyed the competition. Even, you know, the Hades Megatron released by Hasbro does not compare. And while I like the original Soundwave, also, it just doesn't compare anymore. APC's doing a terrific job, and I'm excited for more. They need to please do Bumblebee. He needs to be remade. I hope they don't do him like exactly the same. This is the original Soundwave to give you an idea. You can see how he's a little too small. Like, he dwarfs Megatron in this case with the original one. So you kind of have to get APC figures in order to scale with other APC figures. But it works. It works when you get them. But overall, my goodness, I am just so glad that APC is putting out Transformers Prime characters in the year of 2021, so long from the time of the show ending. There's still at least someone out there showing some love, putting out some new figures. This is pretty much my childhood and the origin of the Alfonso Nation, so I'm a big fan of what they're doing, and I hope they continue and do more. And here he is in his absolutely fantastic alt mode. He looks absolutely terrific. Here he is, guys. I am super pleased with the overall build and feel of this guy. The transformation is the exact same as the original, but you can see the alt mode just looks a little bit different, and it is way larger. You can actually get a good feel of the scale from the actual alt mode as well, because I'll bring in the original here, and yeah, you can definitely see that these two guys are clearly and presently different in size. I really like both of them, but again, this guy just has that overall more robust feel. And there they are together, upside down. And I do have Laserbeak here. You can attach Laserbeak on the underside, or you can attach Laserbeak at the top in that little peg there. I just have, you know, Laserbeak kind of stored. And that's pretty much what they look like together. One major thing you can see in the back here, you know, this actual piece here is silver, and this one is just standard. So that silver piece really just brings it out. It really brings out that piece. You know, the paint just makes a big difference. For weapon storage, you could add the tentacles if you wanted to. I don't remember him ever doing that in the series. It's possible he could have. But normally he uses the tentacles in robot mode, but you can, I believe it's upside down, but I think you can peg this in, yeah, like that. And you can have the tentacles kind of hanging off, or you can have him like aiming them to the front, or kind of whatever you want to do with it. It's your preference, really. I mean, I wouldn't really go there, but there you go. I mean, you have the option. What I like is that you have the option. But overall, I love this guy. I'm so glad they have a new Transformers Prime figure, just in general, in 2021. And I love that Transformers Prime Soundwave has gotten his moment to shine and walk the red carpet. I'm a big fan of this guy, and I love the tentacles. It was a really nice touch. You didn't have to do that, but they did do it, and I'm so glad they did. So anyways, if you guys want to get this figure, I mean, I think it's worth it, especially if you're collecting Transformers Prime. Once again, shows the store link in the description box below, and I think you guys should, because it's really awesome. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, drop a like on it, and as always, this is Alfonso, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Till all are one.